Once you've decided on your neckline, and you can refer to lesson 5 for more information about that, and you understand what it is that has to be done to achieve that neckline, which you can see in the worksheet and from that video, then it is time to start knitting. You have determined that your neckline has to start at some point before the end of the sweater, so just keep that point in mind so that when you get to that row, you're ready to start to bind off the neck stitches or divide them for V-neck and start working flat. So let's begin with my sweater, which is going to be a very simple high crew neck. So I am going to be working in the round for a good while before I have to work the neckline. I'm going to work my 8 plain rounds, and as you can see, I marked the beginning of my round with a row counter, so I'll know when my 8 plain rounds are up. And then, beginning with the next round, I'm going to work a decrease. The way the decreases work is you decrease on either side of each marker, all the way around. So when I reach a decrease round, I'll slip my beginning of the round marker, and then work either a knit 2 together or a slip slip knit, work to the 2 stitches before the next marker and do the same thing. So I decrease a stitch there, slip the marker, and then either knit 2 together or a slip slip knit, continue to the next one, and repeat this all the way around the piece. Since I have 4 markers and I'm taking out 1 stitch through the decreases on each side of the markers, that means I lose 8 stitches on each decrease round. And since this is the end of my round, it means that it will end with a decrease as well. You can see in the notes that there is a sample set of instructions which you can use if you don't want to write your own decrease method. This will slant your decreases such that it makes a straight line of stitches up the side of the piece. So what's basically going to happen is you'll see a seam coming from here to the neckline of the sweater. If you work a knit 2 together before the marker and a slip slip knit after the marker, is that right? No. If you work a slip slip knit before the marker and a knit 2 together after the marker, you will get a raised line of stitches which point straight to the collar of your sweater. This is the most common type of raglan shaping that I see. If you reverse that and work knit 2 together before the marker and slip slip knit after the marker, you get what's called a fully fashioned decrease, where the decreases decoratively point in towards the seam. This is all covered in the worksheet, and it might be something that you want to experiment with before you decide which you want to do, or you can just use the shaping that's in the worksheet and save the fireworks for your next sweater. Once you start working the neckline, or if you're working a cardigan, then your sweater is going to have to be worked flat. Since there's a plain row between each decrease row, that's really convenient. It means that you'll work your decrease rows on the right side, or the knit side, and then your plain rows will be purl rows. And you will continue until you have done all the rows of your yoke as calculated earlier. I don't have my page anymore. I believe it was 50 for me, or the number which is 5 on your worksheet. And then you will bind off all the stitches and you're ready to do the finishing. If you're worried about fit, then when you get to the end of the yoke, you can put all your stitches on waste yarn and try the sweater on. And that way, if you're unhappy with some of how the shoulders fit, you can always unravel and make adjustments as necessary. I'm looking forward to seeing how you all progress. Next week, we'll talk about finishing all of the trims, bells, and whistles for our sweaters, and then it'll be time for show and tell and graduation. Happy knitting!